Hi, this is Kathleen Osborne, your host with Interviews by Kathleen. And today, my guest is Beth Freely. She is an absolutely incredible friend to have in your hip pocket. Let me tell you. She not only writes in awesome books of many genres, she is also a podcaster. She is a cover designer. She is an editor and a formatter and a publisher. She has mastered the many skills that most people long to even have their toe in the water for. Beth, tell me how you got into writing. What drew you to writing? When did you
Oh my,
start writing?
when did I start writing? Oh boy. Well, let's see. 40 some odd years ago. I was 8 years old, third grade. We had to enter a book contest. Everybody in third grade had to enter a book. Um, I entered this little children's book called Topaz and His Adventure, and I won.
Oh my gosh.
So my book was bound by a professional bookbinding company and sat in my elementary school's library up until the elementary school got absorbed into a different, that they combined like three elementary schools into one. And I have no idea whatever happened to that book. And somewhere in all my paperwork. I'm pretty sure I still have the original notebook papered version of the book, which if I ever find it, I will go ahead and release it. But I would say somewhere between ages 6 and 8. So somewhere between 48 and 50 years ago, I started writing, and I haven't looked back since.
And I can believe it because of the quality of writing that you produce
Thank you.
and the quantity. Now, I know that you write science fiction,
Hmm.
romance. I know you write Western
Yep.
romance. Um, and I know that you write sweet romance. Um, you've written YA. You've,
No,
oh,
YA is
I
the
thought
one
you,
no, YA is the one I have not
oh,
dabbled in.
that's good. That's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I haven't addressed it either because I don't have any kids
I don't either.
that
All mine
young.
are grown, and I've got a toddler grandson, so yeah.
Yeah. You've got, I was talking with someone who has a um, review group
Hmm.
and they average over 200 reviews a month
Wow.
and they're all volunteers. But she said that if you don't know their language,
Hmm.
if you're not familiar with it,
Hmm.
please don't.
Yeah. Yeah, young adult is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
don't I do not go in I don't dabble in that. I don't dip my toes
Mm-mm.
in those waters. Those waters are spicy when it
Yeah.
comes to knowing what to write.
Yeah. And you write historical. I know you
Yes.
just finished a samurai book.
Hmm.
I have not delved into that one, but I have seen the results. I've seen the trailer and some of the other
Hmm.
things that you've done, and oh my goodness sakes, how do you find the time? Do you sleep?
No. Honestly, I have horrible insomnia. And I sometimes sleep maybe 2 to 4 hours a night. And if it's a real bad night, I just get up and come in my office and turn the computer on, and I'll sit here for about an hour or two and write or work on a website or work on the teaching classes that I'm doing for House of the Vixen Blade Press. Um, or sometimes I'll just sit in the bedroom with a notebook and I'm actually doing research into Japanese philosophy for the second book in my samurai in what's turning out to be a samurai trilogy. I've got a notebook and a book on Bushido, next to my bed, which includes Musashi's Five Rings and some other books. And the second book, the character, the lead male character in this book is the daimyo, so it's a little more important to have that kind of pinned down a little bit more than I did in the first book. So if I'm not sleeping, I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way,
Yeah.
and I can empathize with that. Uh,
Figure if I can't sleep, I might as well be productive.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes that's the most productive time.
Yes. Yeah. I have discovered over the
Hmm.
years that I really am a night owl when it comes
Hmm.
to finding that sweet spot to write.
Yeah. See, I'm an early person, more than a night owl,
Hmm.
but sometimes it's like night.
Yeah. This is one of my co-authors here. This is Peanut Butter.
Hmm. Hi, peanut butter.
She's one of my co-authors. She's
Hmm.
always with me when I'm writing.
Uh, Now you have, with your podcasting, I know you've interviewed me and you've interviewed several other authors. What
Hmm.
led you to expand your repertoire into podcasting?
When I went indie in 2000, right at the height of COVID and everything, I was lucky enough to get an audition for my book Behind the Eyes of Dorian Gray from British actor Max Brown. And for those of you who are not familiar with Max Brown, he played Edward Seymour on The Tudors.
Mhm.
And he was recently on the Sister Boniface Mysteries. Um, I also know him from a TV show called MI6. And I it was just one of those rare occurrences that, you know, kind of blew everybody's mind. And a former coworker of mine did a podcast called Task Force Geek with some friends, one of those friends being Dirk Hooper. And my friend Walt, he was like, you got to get on Task Force Geek and tell your story and tell people you've got a bona fide actor reading your book. And so he arranged it, and I went on Task Force Geek, and I hit it off with Dirk so well that he invited me to come back and come back and come back. And at the time, we were reviewing and talking about the Marvel TV shows, Marvel movies, the Star Wars TV shows, things going on in the comic book world. So it was perfect, and we had a blast with it. So it was in 2022, after 2 years of doing podcasts with these guys, that I decided to, set up the Book Crew podcast. And I started it, and I did a couple of episodes by myself, and then we moved. And year before last, let's see, this is 26, 2024, Dirk and I talked about resurrecting the show and, doing it together. Because as you saw, we have a lot of fun when we get
Yeah,
going.
they bounce very well off
Yeah.
of each other.
So,
Hmm.
so that was how I actually got into doing podcasting and doing interviews like this. When I first started doing interviews like this, I was a nervous wreck, but the more I do them and the more I do the podcasts, the easier it becomes.
Hmm. Now, I know that you also are going to be a keynote speaker, one of the keynote
Hmm.
speakers for the coming White Mountains third annual writers conference called Ride the Wave of Change.
Hmm.
And what can you give us a little sneak peek of what you're going to talk about?
My sneak peek isn't very much of a sneak peek yet because I haven't really um, completely fleshed out what I'm doing. But with the ride the wave theme, I can tell you, my presentation is going to be called "Go Learn Something." Um,
Based
we
off of that TV show,
Go
right?
learn, go, no, no, just go
No,
learn
no.
something. No, no.
Okay.
There is so much going on in the author world. There's so much going on in the computer world that if we are not, as authors, consistently learning something new,
Hmm.
we will fall behind.
Yes.
So, whether it's learning how to navigate Ingram Spark or how to potentially use AI as a tool for finding things like themas or putting in what your book is about and having it tell you, hey, for your best results, this is what's trending on Amazon. You can use these search tools to understanding why you need to have a website. It's important for authors to consistently be learning and be able to keep up. So we're going to go ride that current wave of change by going and learning something.
Good. Good. I I was alluding to the TV show NCIS New Orleans
Oh yeah, yeah, go learn something. Yeah.
and
Yep.
I'm trying to remember his name. The star of the show, he'd always tell his agents, go learn things.
Mm-hmm. Go learn things. Yep.
Yeah, because I agree with you totally. If we are not learning, we are not progressing in our gifts and our
Mm-hmm.
talents. We are not doing justice to our readers.
And as much as I hate to say it, AI, and I know AI in the writer community is a very toxic subject, but there are ways that authors can use AI to their advantage, not using it to write their books, but using it to position their books in the marketplace better. Um, there's a lot of research that goes into it, and sometimes
Hmm.
we don't have the time to do the research, or we just don't even know where to start. Jump on ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I've got a book about alien dragons. How should I place this? What kind of search terms should I put on here that people are looking for?" In this respect, AI is a tool, and um,
I think it's a very good mining tool.
it's a great mining tool, and um, it's not going to take over our jobs anytime soon. And I think we need to look at how we can utilize it and utilize it properly as the tool that it is, and try and start to veer some of that thinking that it's, oh God, you used AI for this, you must use it in your writing. No, no. Just because we use it to search something or to position our books somewhere on Amazon, it doesn't mean we're using it to write our books. And we have to start teaching our authors that this is a tool. And it's just like Grammarly, it's just like Canva, it's a tool,
Mhm.
and we shouldn't be afraid to use it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't think it's the biggest threat out there.
No,
There's
no,
bigger threats.
there's bigger threats
There,
out there.
as a writer, when I first started writing, there was a classes being taught, and I took one, and it was how to basically hijack and write on somebody else's wave
Hmm.
and not create my own. Because every book that we create should create should cause a wrinkle or a wave in the pond of
Hmm.
writing that we're writing in.
Yeah.
Now, if you wrote Dorian Gray, if I wrote another book and called it Dorian Black,
Hmm.
and had a cover very similar and then wrote something that was not similar.
Right.
That's hijacking.
That's hijacking. Yeah.
And that does go on.
Oh yeah, it
And
does.
that
It
and
does.
and it's been on the increase. It has not lessened.
I I
And
understand I understand where the creative community is coming from, saying, the anger behind the fact that AI was trained on our books without our permissions, AI was trained on our artwork without our permissions, etc. I get it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that we can do about it at this point. It's already done. The damage has already been done.
mhm,
So at this point, we have a choice to either consistently stay in the background and never use it and never touch it and never look at it and constantly point fingers, or we can turn around and say, okay, fine, this has happened. How do we use this to our advantage?
mhm.
And
It's
as someone who has to use AI occasionally in her actual 9 to 5 job, I am seeing ways that as an author, I can use it outside of the actual writing forum. And that's we need to get it across to authors that it's not the it's not the nasty thing that it really is, and that it can be used as a proper tool.
anything can be used as a weapon, but
Hmm.
also it can be used for good. And it's finding how it can be used for good for what you want to do.
Hmm.
You can take something. This is something I learned a long time ago that if you fight change, you die.
Yeah, yeah,
If you don't embrace change, you will go to the wayside. There are companies closing because they've done no planning, no integration,
yeah.
no trying to understand change. And I'm not saying you should worry about there are laws, and yes, the laws have because this is such a new thing, new laws have to be created.
Oh yeah,
But we
yeah,
have
for
to
sure.
first of all find what those loopholes are to close them.
Yeah,
They have closed a loophole in a sense with AI can't, if you're working, if you're say you're building your outline or you're brainstorming with AI, that's going to they can't take that and use that.
no, they
That's
can't. They
pirating.
can't. Yeah,
That is pirating. But if they buy my finished book, they've paid the royalty. They've paid me whether I wanted them to buy it.
whether you want them to buy it or not. Yeah.
But that's legitimate.
I was very anti-AI when it came out, like a lot of people, until I
Mhm.
started having to play with it and learn it for my job. And I'm in a marketing department. And while my position itself doesn't use AI a lot, they still, the company itself wants us to learn it, and we're using it for things like um, customer service emails. We've got the AI chat bot that guides the consumer to the right department or the right
Yeah.
brand and things like that, which it does free up employees to do more important things. And I'm starting to see, I'm not 100% on the AI bandwagon. There are just some things that I won't
Mhm.
do with it, but I am starting to see where certain aspects of AI can be very beneficial to an author, especially when you take the writing concept, okay, when you take the whole idea of writing your book and you just set that aside and you look at AI and you go, okay, how can I use you to market my business? How can I use you to make my business more efficient And that's the word we need to start actually paying attention to. How can I use AI to make my writing business more efficient so that I can do a task that normally would take me a couple of hours in 1 hour so I can get back to actually writing the book?
Yeah.
That's where we need to actually start looking at how AI is advantageous to
Yeah.
our author business, not to write our
Thing,
books, but to the business.
it's the same thing as inventing the washing machine
Hmm. Yeah.
or the electric stove or the gas stove, or how many people did not run out and buy the Instapot when it came out.
Hmm. Here's how I'm starting to look at AI and the analogy that I enjoy using. Take the Starship Enterprise. Pick a series, I don't care which one, from the original Star Trek to the final series, Starfleet Academy. The computer in Star Trek is AI.
Hmm.
Spock can go, computer, tell me how to, or what is the number of, or analyze this plant. And the computer on Star Trek does it faster than Spock could do it, which gives Spock the answer Kirk needs, like that, which allows Kirk to make a decision and keep the ship going. That is where eventually I hope we see AI finally go.
Yeah.
And if we use it as the tool that it is and we train it right, because we're the ones training it,
Hmm.
then eventually we will hear Majel Barrett's head, voice in our head, or Majel Barrett's voice come across the speakers and go, working. Here's your answer.
Hmm. Yeah. For those of you who ever read science fiction, do you ever find that when the human gets on the ship and everybody else is treating the computer and the AI like a just a machine, and they come on and they say thank you, and they said would you please, and everybody looks at them like they're nuts.
Hmm.
But guess what I do? I do the same thing.
I want my AI to kind of be gold skinned and snarky and have a love for cats. And I'm going to name him
Uh-huh.
Data, and that's just going to be that.
Yes, but with that, with the change in that, there are so many other changes that are going on right now in writing.
There are. There are.
There is a dramatic change in. Um, I was talking with the young gal that heads up the YA reviews. Such a change that what they're now having for 11-year-olds are just a few years ago were for somebody over 18. And it's, they're hand holding, they're kissing, and the 11-year-olds don't want that.
Mm-mm.
But it, because they don't, we don't, you don't want them to lose the innocence.
No, there's a
So,
difference between reading Judy Blume
uh-huh,
and reading the chick who wrote Fifty Shades of Grey at 11 years
mm-hmm,
old.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And we've lost the Judy Blooms. We've
yeah,
lost
the
all of
wonder,
those. Yeah, we've lost the wonder. Kids have grown up way too fast in this day and age.
and
Um,
these,
and it's it's caused a change in mindset.
it
And we
has,
need to go back and remember that these are impressionable youths. You know,
yeah,
I'm not one for banning books. But I'm also the first person that will say, if your child is reading a book for an 18-year-old and there's a sex scene in it and your kid's only 11, you might want to double check why they're reading that and have a conversation with them. I know 11-year-olds that are mature enough to read that stuff. Should they be reading it? Not my call. That needs to fall back on the parent.
Hmm. I know my daughter-in-law and my son, they read the books that the kids do
Hmm.
before
I
the
did that
kids
with
get.
my daughter. Yeah.
Hmm.
I also steered my daughter towards the things that I was reading at 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 years old,
Hmm.
which was Judy Blume and S.E. Hinton. And I was reading Tolkien and Frank Herbert, Dune as I started getting into my teens. And I steered my daughter towards those books. And then
Hmm.
she found other books that kind of fell in the same way, and my daughter also loved the Harry Potter series. For as much as people rag on J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter series is a true example of what a young adult series should be. She starts with Harry at a young age, she works it through, and she matures the children appropriately.
Hmm.
And that's what we're missing. We're missing the days of like I said, the Judy Blume books. We're missing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone,
Yeah.
which was a book about innocence and a kid learning, stepping out on his own, finding acceptance, finding, a family and stuff like that. Like I said, for as much as people rag on J.K. Rowling for her political feelings and everything, she still wrote a young adult series that resonates, and that's what we're missing.
Yeah. Oh, she gets ragged on about so much. It's not
Yeah,
even funny.
yeah.
That's just so sad.
That's
Um,
that's that's neither here
Everybody's
nor there.
politics,
Yeah.
everybody's feelings are their own, and
Are
everybody
their own.
has a right
Yep.
to them.
Yep.
You don't have a right to try and force yours on somebody else. I don't
Nope.
believe that.
I don't believe
Uh,
that either.
I believe you can debate, but argue, no. And there is a difference,
There is.
a big
There is.
difference. Um,
Unfortunately, we have seen a lot of that arguing and a lot less debating in the author community lately, and
yeah, yeah.
which is pretty sad. Yeah.
But I think it's changing. Even that is changing. There's some softening, there's some understanding.
Hmm.
Um, People are calling on others, like a conference I just went to, and having attorneys there
Yeah.
about the rights, your rights as a writer.
Hmm.
And everybody should know your rights. You need, if you don't know what you can do, you don't know what you can't,
Exactly. Exactly.
or what somebody can't do to you. And there's a lot of fallacy floating around. And I'm not going to turn this into a legal thing because that's not what we're here for.
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's also all part of this change. Now, I also have another question for you.
No.
Oh, yeah. I know that you have won awards. What awards have you won?
I won the first annual Arch Books Publishing Award in 2005, which is how I got my publishing contest contract, with Behind the Eyes and Dorian Gray. Um, that was first place in women's fiction.
Hmm.
Um, I won the award in third grade for my children's book. I won a couple awards in England for some of my short fiction writing when I was over there in school. But the big one is I won two awards in during the 2022 Spring BookFest Awards for Beyond the Steps of Stone. The first one was first place for sci-fi romance. And then the second award was second place in sci-fi romance, aliens and alien invasion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed. I am.
Now I'm gonna blush.
Yeah. And also, you are a new member of New Mexico Professional Women.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. As a matter
And
of fact, they have their conference on Friday, and I am actually up for a board member at large position.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I think you will make a great board member.
I hope so. I would like to see I would like to see some more things get done in the state of New Mexico. We're in the southeast corner of the state, and there's not a lot going on in this corner of the state for authors. Um, almost everything centers around Albuquerque. And
Hmm.
they had a chapter in Alamogordo and they had a chapter in Las Cruces, I believe. Those were the other two places they had it, and both of those closed.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a small author community in this area. And I'm hoping come the middle of this year, maybe the beginning of next, to try and see if we can't get a chapter in this area up and running and active, similar to what you're doing with White Mountains there in Arizona.
Hmm. Yes. And I think that you will because you're like me. You can't just sit and ignore the
Mm-mm.
people that are in need.
Mm-mm. And
And
I'm lucky in that I have a bit of a vehicle to help get the word out in that the Book Crew podcast is broadcast on the AM station in out of Carlsbad. So we have, our podcast is on terrestrial radio, and I can use that to, like at the end of our show, I can say, hey, we're looking for authors, illustrators, graphic artists, the whole nine yards to join the professional, the New Mexico Professional Women's group, and we're starting a chapter here, reach out to me, so hopefully I can get some interest, drummed up and really get the word out there and get something going.
I think you will. And we will talk more about that
Hmm.
privately.
Yes, because I will need your help. We'll need your help. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Now, what would you advise a new emerging author? One of the most important things that they need to do, besides, of course, write and make sure that their their book is edited and proofed and all of that and out. But what should they do in addition to that?
Um, have their own website. That is important because as more and more of these publishing platforms are starting to charge fees and they're taking more of our royalties, uh if you have your own website, you can sell direct to your readers and, keep more of your royalties. Um, Definitely do marketing, build up some sort of following, um, you know, on social media, a newsletter if you have it. Um, yeah, write a blog, put a blog on your website. Show people that you can write more than just a book, that you can also be an authority. Or, share with people your thoughts about writing, your short stories, your poetry. Keep your presence at the forefront if you can.
Hmm.
It's easier said than done. I will be the first one to admit that. My social media presence has kind of tanked this year, but then I've been focused on writing more than marketing. Um, and the other thing, go to shows. It doesn't have to be some big book signing event with 50, 60, 70 authors. You have a farmer's market down the street and they charge $10 for a booth. Go pay that $10. Go sit out there with your books, with your swag, and meet the people. I
Yeah.
think that's probably one of the biggest things. I hear so many indie authors say, "Oh, I can't afford to do the big book signings." Can you afford a $10 booth at your local's farmer market? Well,
Hmm.
yeah. Then go to the local's farmer market and set up. My following went crazy after I left Texas. I was doing shows in Texas and stuff, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I moved out here to New Mexico. I have a sister-in-law who's very crafty, and she said, "Hey," she goes, "I'm doing this craft show. Maybe you should come and set your books up." And I did. And all of a sudden, I have three people in Artesia alone that are constantly chomping at the bit. And if they find out I'm at some little local show, either here or in Carlsbad or in Roswell, they show up to see what new stuff I've got out.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is how you get your name out there. So do the local little shows. If you can afford a booth at your county fair, go to your county fair. Go talk to the librarians at your local library and ask them if you can do a little reading. The library is perfect because they do all the advertising for you.
Yeah. What about sharing a booth?
Sharing a booth for sure. I mean, my sister-in-law and I have done that plenty of times where we've split the cost and shared a booth. My friend Lori, who's a children's author, we have a friend who does a monthly show, and we'll go and we'll get a 10 by 20 booth and split it. And we play off each other. She knows my books. I know her books. If I have to go to the bathroom or if I want to go wander, I can because she can pitch my books. Just like if she wants to go wander, I can pitch hers.
Hmm.
So, find a way to do these little shows around the area. And yeah, you may not think the county fair is would be someplace an author
Oh
would be.
no,
Oh
that.
yeah. I did the Eddy County Fair with my friend Terry last year. We split a 10 by 20 booth between the two of us. That was the best show I've ever heard because people come in from everywhere. They come in from, you know, up to 100 miles away just to go to the county fair. You don't know where you're going to find people from.
Hmm. Exactly.
That was
And
how I met
that's,
two of my other followers that live out in Lovington. They came to the
mhm.
county fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't ever, ever be afraid of working with another author
Oh gosh,
in
no,
a
no.
booth. There are three other authors that I work with
Hmm.
four, I would say I work with consistently. And fortunately, unfortunately, whatever you want to say, we all write different genres,
Hmm.
which is fortunate because we don't compete with one another. And what we do is if somebody says, well, I only like mysteries, I know somebody perfect for
Yep.
you then.
Yep.
I like fantasy. I know somebody perfect for you
Yep.
because when they want something science fiction, I'm the girl.
They're gonna say go see
Yeah,
Kathleen. Yeah.
exactly.
What?
And they do. And we split the farmers market here.
Hmm.
We have a a weekly author table, and we all trade off
Yep.
so that we are not tied up every single weekend. But our name is out, and somebody says, "Well, what about where are they?" Well, they'll be back,
Hmm.
and if you
Hmm.
if you want, you can put your name down here, and I'll give it to them, and they'll call you.
Yeah. Yeah. And become friends with, if there are regulars at these shows, you know, regular vendors or like our friend Dee Dee who does the one every month, get to be friendly with them, especially if they're interested in your books and read them. And I say that because sometimes they are the best advertisement you can find.
Hmm.
I wrote a book called Sculpting Love. It was my first male romance that I ever wrote. And Dee Dee is not the type of person who normally reads a male romance. But I had posted it on Facebook, and I've got friends and family who aren't into that kind of thing. And I had preceded my post with, if this is a male-male romance, if this is not for you, please move on. Keep your comments to yourself. And Dee Dee was like, who's commenting on my girl's stuff? She goes, I want to read it. So she bought a copy. And the book is about a man who is dealing with the loss of his partner after 5 years and how he finds love again. The next show that we did, Dee Dee came in there. I'm setting up. Dee Dee came in there and she just hugged me. And then she like smacked me on the arm. She goes, I love you and hate you at the same time. I said, why? She goes, you made me cry with this book. I said, which book? She's bought like 5 of my books. She goes, Sculpting Love. She goes, you're not a widow, are you? I said, no. She goes, then how come you can write a scene so poignant and explain every feeling that he's going through losing his partner without ever knowing how that feels like? Dee Dee had lost her husband. So when she read that whole scene, it hit every single trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when people come to my stall and they're like, "Well, we don't know what to read. We don't know what kind of stuff we like." She will come flying over there and go, "Oh, no, 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 no. Here, you want to read either this, or this." And she'll hand 3 of my books to them, and one of them is always Sculpting Love. And the people will be like, "Well, we don't really read male mail." And she's like, "There's only a page of spicy time in this book." She goes, "You want to read this book for the emotions behind it." And usually they walk out with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Find yourself a hype man or hype woman, because Dee Dee is one
Mm-hmm.
of the best hype women I've ever met when it comes to my stuff.
Exactly. I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And it is so exciting as an author to have somebody come running over and do your spiel for you.
hmm She does it
And
every time with that one. And then anyone who knows me, I have a banner with cover artist Kevin Davis on it for my book, Taming the Rancher's Daughter. And invariably, we always do Facebook Lives to promote the shows that we do with Dee Dee. And invariably, every single time, her and Lori will start arguing over who that man belongs to
mm-hmm,
in my banner.
mm-hmm,
And I will Facebook the two of them, like play arguing over it. And I'll just like, towards the end of it, I'll just look and go, hey, here's where we're at. And, if you're interested in this book, come on down. I've got copies.
yeah,
And I've had people who have seen Lori and Dee Dee kind of play fight over the Kevin banner come and say, hey, we saw Lori and Dee Dee fighting over the banner. Where's that book? We want to read it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what else I found? And I encourage people to do this too. There might be vendors there that can help you.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's one that is at the market that we do, and they do the 3D art
Yep.
from the 3D printers. And we have found uh, a design for stand-up articulating dragons,
hmm
and I need some. I found a young man who's just gone in to learn how to smelt and he uses cans and he makes doubloons. So I have a pirate in one of my books. And then I found another one who makes, she's a stained glass
hmm
artiste, but now she's making bound small books, bound.
Cute. I love it.
And so, she's doing some of those with some science fiction cloth, like
So
stars and stuff like that. So I can take those and sell for to
mhm.
go along with my books.
one of
And
the one of my staunch followers, Rachel, she does diamond art. And we got to
mhm,
talking one day, and now we will trade. I'll trade, a couple of books, and she does diamond art bookmarks for me. And they're gorgeous, and people go nuts over them.
mhm,
Um, Another lady who I met doing these shows, who is, who I'm a close friend with, She did an entire line of candles and room spray and soaps because she's a soap maker, um, that went with Love of a Samurai. We
Mm-hmm.
sat down and mixed up scents and came up with the whole concept line, for my Love of the Samurai series. Your
Yeah.
swag doesn't just have to be bookmarks and stickers.
No.
That's the other thing I would tell up and coming authors. Think outside the box with your swag. Some of it,
Yeah.
yes, some of it you definitely want to sell, but you can think outside the box for swag that you can give away as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't have to limit yourself to things just like bookmarks and stickers and pens. Think
You
bigger.
can do songs.
You can do songs. Yeah, you can do songs. You
Because
can
I've
have
done songs.
You can do
Yeah.
character art. I never did character art before, and one of my favorite cover artists, he did a samurai piece that I bought off him. I was like, oh my God, I need to have that. And I said, hey, how much do you charge for custom work? And he told me, and I commissioned three more pieces that go with it. So I sell like an 8 by 10 of my couple and then a single of her and a single of him, all frameable for $30. And people
Mm-hmm.
go nuts over the character art.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So do not limit yourself or your
Mm-mm,
imagination just
mm-mm.
to the story.
Yeah.
Take it beyond what is there. See, that's another big change that's come on is people are starting to really think outside the box
Mm-hmm.
on marketing and selling them from their own website.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
Have
I
you may have your own publisher, but come back and sell from your website.
sell from your website. Yeah, for sure. Because
Hmm.
you can do things like book boxes from your website too, and also,
Hmm.
um, at shows. What a vendor that I'm friends with all. Yeah, a lot of my swag makers I've met at shows. And I have one lady who does leather craft, and she is actually making me 5 leather dust jackets for special editions of Love of a Samurai. And one of the other swag makers that I use, she's created the entire inside of the book box that this hardcover with the leather dust jacket will go in. And we we were talking and she was like, "Well, what about making it like a spa day box?" So
There
that's
you
what we
go.
did. It's like a spa day box. It has a pair of socks. It's got some bath salts in it. It's got a trinket box. You know, go take a bath and read the book.
Yeah,
Because here's all the
exactly.
stuff. Go take a bath and read the book.
Exactly. And that's easy marketing when
Hmm.
you can go to somebody and say, "This is what I want." And
And people will pay. Okay, if the box is quality, because I sat down and
mhm,
figured out how much this box, how much I'm actually going to have to charge for this book box. Okay, and it's a premium book box. I'm going to have to charge about $150 for everything, for that book box to cover everything that's in it, plus put a little bit in my pocket. But I showed a friend of mine the book box, and she was like, "Yeah, I'd buy that for 150." She's like, "Hands down." She goes, "I'd pay 200 for that,"
mhm. Yeah,
which is another thing. Pricing your books. As an up and coming author, you may think that you need to price your books lower. Don't do that.
mhm.
Take into account if you're going to use your books, if you're going to buy books for shows and stuff, take into account things like your gas money to drive to the show, postage to send it out to people who order it online, and price your book accordingly. Don't
Yeah,
undersell yourself.
yeah, exactly. That is exactly it.
Hmm.
Beth, you are such a font of information and so much fun. That's why you're my friend.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But I want to thank you for joining me today and spending this time. At the end of this video, people will be able to find how to get hold of you.
Hmm.
So be expecting something, and you want to get on her email list,
Yes, for sure.
and you want to find out what radio station she's on, especially if you are in New Mexico.
KCCC 90, KCCC 80, 103.5 has had to stop and think of it. I think that's the number, but it's KCCC
Yeah,
out of Carlsbad.
there you go. So until next time, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for
I'm
having me too.
Kathleen Osborne, and I love interviewing people. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.